come together to just come here because it's fashionable. You don't know, you don't have any idea about what your neighbor went through all this past week. You know? So to be able to have that relationship with God, or to be seeking God so strongly that you would take the time to come out and publicly assemble ourselves together for worship, that says a whole lot, and it's monumental. But I don't live here. And my stability cannot be based upon any position or place. It has to be based upon one thing, and that is my day-to-day, moment-by-moment relationship with God.
All right.
That's what it has to be based upon. My faith, and that relationship has to be the concrete foundation for my day-to-day living. Okay? And we're really going to deal with the fact that there are some things that we call walking in faith, but they really aren't. And we're going to talk about some of those things today, all right? Verse 3 said, "It is not fancy hair, gold jewelry, or fine clothes that should make you beautiful. No, your beauty should come from within you, the beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit that will never be destroyed and is very precious to God. In this same way, the holy women who lived long ago and followed God made themselves beautiful, yielding to their own husbands. Sarah obeyed Abraham, her husband, and called him her master. And you women are true children of Sarah if you always do what is right and are not afraid. In the same way, you husbands should live with your wives in an understanding way, since they are weaker than you. Show them respect, because God gives them the same blessing he gives you, the grace that gives true life. Do this so that nothing will stop your prayers. Finally, all of you should be in agreement, understanding each other, loving each other as family, being kind and humble.
Help us, Lord.
Do not do wrong to repay. Do not do wrong to repay. Do not do wrong to repay. Do not do wrong to repay wrong. And do not insult to repay an insult.
Help us, Lord.
But repay with a blessing, because you yourselves were called to do this so that you might receive a blessing.
Yes.
The scripture says a person must do these things to enjoy life and have many happy days. Must not say evil things, must not tell lies, must stop doing evil and do good. You must look for peace and work for it. The Lord sees the good people and listens to their prayers, but the Lord is against those who do evil. If you are trying hard to do good, no one can really hurt you. But even if you suffer for doing right, you are blessed. Don't be afraid of what they fear. Do not dread those things. But respect Christ as the Holy Lord in your hearts. Always be ready to answer everyone who asks you to explain about the hope you have, but answer in a gentle way and with respect. Keep a clear conscience so that those who speak evil of your good life in Christ will be made ashamed. It is better to suffer for doing good than for doing wrong, if that is what God wants. Wow. I want to teach from the subject today, walking in your talk. Walking in your talk. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the blessing of this time together. We just ask you to open up our minds and our hearts so that our spirits can be able to be in one, and we can learn the things that you have for us today. We thank you for this opportunity. Bless everyone that is here today. And we know the things we receive will be both individually and collective. We thank you and we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Walking in your talk. So, one thing I want you to go back and look, because I didn't read it all, but I covered here in the beginning of this third chapter where he is talking about the power of intimacy with God and how intimacy with God can affect people around you. Yes. And he gives instruction here to, for example, the wife who may be with someone that is not a believer. And he doesn't say to abandon them. He says that you should understand your position and your power. And that's why he gets off into talking about the adornment of the body, because for us, men and women, but especially women, you want to look good. You want to look good for yourself. You want to look good for your man.
Right.
Okay. Let me come over here where some women want to look up. I mean, there is the natural beauty that you have. Okay. Oftentimes we want to do things to be able to enhance that, or to show a personal appreciation for the beauty that God has given. Right. Right. And men, we appreciate that, don't we? Don't leave me out there by myself again. Men, we appreciate that, don't we? Okay, I got one brother with me. Men, we appreciate that, don't we? Amen. Okay, that's it. Yeah, and yet the power that you have, men and women, is not in how you look.
Right. Come on now.
It's who you are. And Paul is teaching here for the church at Ephesus to say that when you are a person of character, when you're a person of strength, then you can be gentle and quiet, and that the observation that the man or woman will have of who you really are will draw them, right, either by the touch that you have, or just by natural, right, being naturally curious about the change that has occurred in your life, may draw him or her so that they will see why you are able to do what? To transform right before their eyes. They live with you or see you all the time, and they can see demonstratively that you are not the same person. It says that has great power. That is great. You don't have to beat them across the head. You ain't got to be cussing and dragging nobody to church. You don't have to threaten to leave. He said, if you who you are, be who you are, and be sincere and strong about your own belief, right? Either it will draw them to you or drive them away from you. One of the two. And he says that is the mark. Now, the reason why he hits real hard upon the adornment is not because he wants us to walk around and not look good. What he's talking about in sincerity is that for the believing woman operating, right, that in those times, the women who operated as prostitutes or in worship services for idol gods would heavily adorn themselves out of self-beauty and of some type of devotion to that God. And they would use it as a part of their worship experience for the God in which they were lifting themselves up. And they did all kind of crazy stuff as a part of that worship experience. And he's simply saying, I know that's how you were raised, but when you become a believer, I want you to understand that you don't need all of that to make you who you are. Anybody listening to me? That I'm going to appreciate. I always tell women, and they don't walk out of here and say, Pastor, you say you just ought to not wear no makeup. No, that ain't what I'm saying, okay? What I'm saying is, though, is natural beauty. Holler at me. Natural beauty. That's all he's talking about. Natural beauty. Natural beauty emerges from the inside. And I don't know about you, but I'm more attracted to folks when I find out who they are internally. I mean, I know she looks good, right, fellas? She looks good, but does she have any content? Does she have any character? Does she have any morals? Does she have any values? Does she have any goals? Is she consistent in her own living? She ought to be able to live without you. I wish I had somebody. She ought to be able to live by herself, take care of herself, and not even need you, so you know properly where you fit. Should be preciously powerful. she should be a daughter of the King. It amazes me now how people will be with somebody that you already know from the beginning who they are, because they've already showed you, but you went ahead and done it anyway, and now you're talking to God about how they treat you. Is anybody listening to me? When you knew from the very beginning that's who she was. And so he says there's something to be aware of. Number one, I have to look at the fact that I'm going to change. I'm already going to change just naturally as a part of living. As I get older, as I mature, hopefully I'm going to change. I'm going to get either better, or I'm going to get worse, or I'm going to stay the same, right? But I'm going to change in some degree. But I am especially going to change when I become a believer. I am. Okay? There is no way that I am going to hang out with Jesus, that I am going to be a child of God interacting with the Holy Spirit, right? And everything remains the same. And the first things that are going to change, and it may take a minute, right, are the things that oppose God. That's the reason why that sometimes men and women, and even in the family, when certain things that we've been doing start rubbing against where we're going, and then we start slowly moving away from that, right? That's when you find out if people love what you do or love who you are. Because folks that love what you do gonna get mad because you ain't doing what you were doing, and therefore they can't use you for what. She didn't never have no money. Every time y'all went to happy hour, she ain't never had no money. Now you stop going to happy hour, and she's mad at you because she can't use you to be happy. Ain't nobody listening to me at all. Can we just talk right here? Okay? And so what happens when I start looking at my life and I really settle down, I'm not as much emotional about it. I become grounded in my faith, in what I believe, and I don't talk about it as much as I walk it. That's what it is. And life will come at us, and it will test where we are, who we are. Won't it? It'll do that, okay? So he says, I want you to understand that when you are a person of content, number one, you're going to change. When you change, understand when it is genuine, it can never be destroyed. If you are serious about your faith, I don't care who you're with. I don't care how much you love them, okay? I don't care if it's your family, your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your brother, sister. No one should be able to talk you out of what it is that you believe, if you believe it.
All right now.
Can I go deeper? And anybody that does not want you to be better, right, doesn't need to be with you anyway. I got to go here for a minute. There are a lot of men and women get jealous when we get a relationship with God. Well, y'all got quiet. They do. And I'm going to let you know, there are two different relationships.
Yeah.
The relationship that I have with God is for my what? For my internal alignment with who I was designed to be, to find my purpose and my place in this world. There is no human being that can help you, make you be aligned with God and give you your purpose and your place in this world. And if your purpose and your place is only so Johnny will be happy or so that Mary will love you, then you are not going to get very far, because if Mary changed her mind, you won't get dropped like a... And I want all young people, I want everybody to listen to me, right? That I should never put anybody on the altar of my heart. I should never put going to say it again. I should never put anybody on the altar of my heart. Even if you don't know God, don't put anybody in place of God, because when you put them there, they don't have the power to be consistent enough to meet your internal needs, and they will let you down every time. Good night. Every time, he says, but when you are serious and you are transforming into that person, there is nothing, not even the enemy, can take that away from you. Amen.
Help us, Lord.
Gentlemen, any woman that won't take care of her own children, you should never have anybody that will take better care of you than she takes care of her kids. Oh, I just got in trouble. Well, since I'm out there, let me keep going, right? Ladies, you should never have anybody that won't take care of their kids, but expect them to be your prince in shining armor. That's a knight with dinged up iron on.
Yeah. What you say now? Come on now.
Because of the fact that a king is going to take care of every subject that is under his authority. You say, well, Pastor, I can't get along with, my baby's mama. You know what? You don't have to have her permission to love your child. And you can, if you can't do nothing else, send lollipops and balloons on birthday. If you can't do nothing, hit them on the phone. Do something. Now, why am I saying that? Because we then have a legacy that is transferred from the inside of us to those who are around us. And we have to remember that I will not be here all the time. I just won't. I just won't. Now, let me clear something up. In the text when it says that Sarah obeyed Abraham and called him master.
All right now. Teach us.
And all the ladies are going like, no, I ain't obeying nothing. I ain't master that he ain't none of my master. He ain't obeying. That's not what she's talking about.
Not all the ladies.
Okay? What he's saying, right, you got cultural,
Yes.
right? Then you got spiritual, and then you got logical. Culturally, the man was the head of everything. And women were not ever considered to be equal. Okay? That's the way it was. But Paul comes and teaches later on for us to understand that when I say obey, what I am doing is that if I trust him, he has proven himself to be strong of character. He is a provider. He is a prophet. He is the pastor of this house. He leads me. He loves me. He embraces me. He stands firm in the word. He is consistent. He ain't got to go to church every Sunday, but I can depend on him. And I know he takes care of everything that we have. Then that means when he says something, I'm at least going to listen to it because we are partners. Is anybody listening to me? We are partners, and when you get together, especially when you talk about marriage, then a lot of times marriage is a problem for people because we just get married because you love her. So why you getting married? Because I love him. I love him, Pastor. They're like, well, okay, that's great, but that ain't enough. It's not enough. What you say? Not enough. Everybody looking at me funny now. I'm talking about, why? You're supposed to get married if you love each other. That's true, right? That ain't enough. Look at verse 8. Finally, you should be in agreement. Understand each other. Loving each other as family. Now he's talking to the entire body, but that also applies in individual home situations. We have to understand that when we come together, we are coming together to build something. I came from my tribe, you came from your tribe, we come together, now we're going to build our tribe. There's some stuff you bring is useful. There's some things she brings is useful. Okay? Right? But we're fixing to design what's ours. What is ours then doesn't belong to anybody else. Ooh, it's quiet in here, man. I'm working my heart out up here. It doesn't belong to anybody else. And we're building more. And we're building more than a house. That's the reason why you can have a house, but it's not a home, because you were building a house. What you want to do is build a home. You want to build it out of we agree on what it is that we stand for. We agree on what our core values are. We agree on what our goals are. We agree on who we are individually, and we agree on who we are collectively. We agree about who our God is. We agree about how we're going to raise our children. We agree about what we're going to do with our finances. Y'all still not working with me right here. I mean, we are in agreement on those things. We have an understanding of each other. You can't be with nobody that you haven't studied. You seeking to be with somebody, you ought to study them. You got to be a student of them. You got from day one. If you think that she's the one, start studying her. Learn her favorite color. Learn her favorite flower. Learn her love language. Love the things she likes and the things she doesn't like. Love the folks she loves, and don't mess with the folks she don't love. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll be fighting. I'll be going home fighting. Like, if you get mad at me, you know. I got to be able to do that. I got to be able to understand. When I understand him, I understand he might not fill the car up with gas, right? But he cuts the yard. He empties the trash. Am I talking to anybody in here? Don't expect me to be like your last boyfriend, because I'm not your last boyfriend. But I would like to be your last boyfriend if we could ever get this thing together. Maybe we can find something that will work if we can get it together. If not, then you can blame it on me when we're not together no more. But 9 boyfriends can't all be wrong. I'm just saying. 9. That's a baseball team. All of them can't be. Anyway, let me keep on going. I'm out of time. Can I have a few more moments? Okay. Right now, okay? So when I change, right, then what happens is I take on the character of Christ, or the Spirit of God.
That's number 3.
Okay? I take on the Spirit of God. I'm gonna change. Okay? I gotta have, it's gonna be content driven. Okay? It's automatic, right? But then I take on the Spirit of God. That's the reason why he says now I become what? I become kind and I become humble.
Yes. Amen.
You got to have the power to be able to walk away.
Help us. Woo.
You got to sometimes make difficult decisions, especially when you're talking about relationships with people, period. You got to make difficult decisions. Sometimes you got to look at folks and you got to be able to say, you know what? We ain't doing that.
Okay. Come on.
I'm not doing, why? I'm not going to do that because that is bringing me back to where I was. Okay? And you don't love it that anybody take you backwards. And you can pray for them. You can do all of those things. Pray for your relationship. Do all those things. Okay? But watch this. I have to have my own set of goals where I'm going and have my line set on what I'm going to do. Watch this. That allows me from the very beginning to see if somebody initially fits.
Right.
You got that, didn't you, Harold? You got that. See, a lot of times we are trying to fit into somebody's world instead of seeing if they fit in ours. And I don't care how good you are, you cannot get a square to go into a round hole. Y'all seen them little pegboards, right? They give you the aptitude test. And if you're sitting there trying to keep putting that square into that little circle, they keep marking down.
Okay.
When I take on the character of Christ, right, then that's who I'm going to be the rest of my life.
Yeah. Amen. Come on, Pastor.
If that's who I'm going to be the rest of my life, okay, you need to see if that's who you can live with. That too many times what we do is we be one face on Sunday and another face Sunday evening. And the people around us who may not be as strong as we are, right, they get confused because they say, you smile at everybody, and you can hear the brother go like, you know, I don't understand. You smile at everybody at church and everybody, but you get home, you treat me nasty. Yeah, that show got quiet, didn't it? You love everybody except me. You love that church more than you love me. Can I drop something in your spirit right here? That God didn't call you to love the church. God called you to love Him. When you love Him, you can love the individuals in the body. But nobody should ever take place of the ones that are under your kingdom. They should be first. It should be first. If you're with somebody, or I don't care even, and you can't make them first, right? I don't know about you, but nobody wants to be anybody's second choice. Are you listening to me? Okay. So when I take on the Spirit of God, that's who I'm going to be the rest of my life. I'm going to have moments where, of course, I'm going to be 100, 75. But the core things, right, are the things I want to develop because why? They give me power. They keep me grounded. Now watch this. When just because somebody comes at me doesn't mean I got to go after them. So hold on.
You're helping us today.
Okay, hold on. That doesn't mean that I won't.
Okay.
Because sometimes we do. Sometimes I done went after you before I realized I done went after you, right? Because I can be hard-headed sometimes, right? But the reason why he says that you don't, okay, that you really have to work at not doing it, okay, is because, well, give me two people and I'm going to stop. Just give me two volunteers, real quick. Give me two volunteers, real quick. Okay, here goes Tony. All right, thank you. So go up there. Okay, stay right here. Stay right here. Okay, now just turn around, point a finger at her like you're fussing at her. Okay. See, I didn't even say that to Tony, but he's automatically he starts fussing with somebody back. And I knew I wouldn't have to say a word, right? Because we are what? Emotionally responsive, right? So as soon as she starts getting this, what does she do? Your mama too? Now, try it again, but don't respond. Do it again. Yeah. Now see, when folks are already at the bottom, why are you going to leave where God has brought you to? Because you just came from here, right? Don't
up there all your life. You just came from here and made it up there. Why you don't go back down just so you can get them back? Step down, Tony. As soon as you do that, you just lost your what? Your position.
Yes, Lord.
They took the power away from you. You stepped down to their level. And since they're already there, they don't have what it takes to get you back up to where you were. In fact, many people are jealous, right? Just take 2 steps up. They're jealous, right? And because they don't want you to ever make that change. Because if you do, then it's going to say that they obviously can do better themselves. So they're going to have you down there with them. Oh, I wish I had somebody that will watch what God is doing in your life. Don't do it. So you don't do it. You don't do it. Why? Now, here's what you want to do. Fuss at her again. Okay? That's when you really make folks mad. Because when you start, you don't even have to tell them. Just start praying for them. You want to set your enemies off? Start praying for all of them. Write their names down. Pray for them every morning when you are praying for them, right? You want to watch their wig catch on fire? You start praying for them every day. You're going to upset. Do you know why? Because you're going to get stronger and they're going to get mad because they can't get to you. I wish I had some. Can I go there for a minute? Do the same thing in your house. In your house, there's a time when you look and you say, you know what? We can't talk about this. I'm going to pray about this right now. And let's pray about this, right? And when a person says, well, I ain't nothing to pray about. You go ahead and pray about it. I already know what I want to do. Then you look at them and you say, I'm still going to pray about it, but you do what it is you think that you need to do because you're grown. Hold on, because this show got quiet there. Hold on. You listen to me? Yeah. Why am I doing that? Because I can't control it. If you're going to try to convince them and beg them and do all that other stuff after you have already done the very best that you can, and you're going to grovel and you're going to go down to help them be able to stay, that's a weak position. Now, if you're guilty and you haven't done anything, yeah, you ought to do some grovel. But when you stood fast and you've done it, you pray for them and then get up, okay, and wave and walk away. A person that does these things will enjoy life and have many happy days. A person that does this will have many happy days and enjoy life. Do you know why? Because we stop trying to get folks that say they love us, who constantly attack us, to keep being around them, and we have the courage to walk away from that and leave them to themselves. You're not hearing me. Thank you. You can sit down. I know what I'm teaching is heavy, but it is the truth. Because when I settle down and I become stronger, I stop letting folks manipulate me and use me. God, I wish I had time. Now, why is that important? Here's my last point. Just now. It keeps the line between God and I open. Keeps it open. I can't put people between God and myself.
It's enough problem for me to not get in the way.
That's right. That's right.
I wish I had somebody that understood what I just said. It takes all of my time to keep me out of the way.
That's it.
So I cannot spend my time. I cannot allow anybody to get between God and I. It doesn't mean that God doesn't hear my prayer. Here's what it means. Okay? Stand up, Creole. Thank you. Stand up, Tony. Okay? Come stand right here. Stand behind her. Okay? Turn to face me. You stand. If I let somebody be here, then they are on the altar of my heart, and I cannot have two gods on the altar of my heart. Okay? Stand over here, Creole. If it is my partner or my family member, they need to be beside me.
Amen. Amen. Yes, sir.
God didn't put them there for me to worship them.
Come on. Yes, sir.
I can serve them, I can embrace them, I can love them, right? But walk away, Creole. But if they decide to leave, I still got my God. We're still gonna be okay. I still got my rock. I gotta quit. I gotta quit. I still got. Don't ever let anybody get between you and the rock, because where the wind goes and the storm comes, it's not gonna be them that's gonna anchor you. It's going to be your relationship with Jesus. Now, come on, I gotta quit. Is anybody listening to me? That's what he's saying.
That was good.
That's what he's talking about. And that's what happens when you start settling down.
That was so good.
When you start begin to eat and begin to get nourished by God and his spirit. And Paul says what happens is, when I was a child, I taught as a child. I saw life as a child. But when I became mature, that word man is the same, but when I became mature, I put away childish things. And I don't know where you are in your life, but I'm going to tell you, if you really want the joy and for things to get better, it's hard decisions that you're going to have to make.
Yeah. Yes, Lord.
It's not about how you look, what you own.
That's right.
You can leave all of that into somebody that don't care about you or that.
All right.
Life can change in a moment. My brother and I were talking about that yesterday when he was in the hospital. It will change in a moment. You think you got a handle on it like you own life? None of us own life. Life's just, but life is beautiful when I put it in correct order. God first. Me second. Now, you said, Pastor, that's selfish. No. You can't take care of nobody if you don't take care of yourself. Are you hearing me? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, I got to take care of myself. God did not give anybody else that responsibility. He gave it to me. When I do that, that's alignment, and then I can take care of the others and the things that God blesses me. I can serve them with a clear conscience, because that's what I'm talking about, a clear conscience. My mind is clear. I got enough junk I'm dealing with, right, that I did. I don't need nobody else's trash. And you have to look. Come on, stand to your feet. You have to look and say, God, where am I right now? Where am I? Where? I come every Sunday. Am I changing? Am I truly surrendering? Is it really working for me? Or is it just something that I do? I mean, it's a great habit to have. But if you're not opening up your heart, if we don't open our hearts and let God really touch us,
then we can go through the motions all the time. And we can blame everybody else for where we are inside. But at the end of the day, it's ours. It's mine. If I don't have joy, that's mine. If I'm not happy with my life, if I'm not enjoying my life, that's mine. It's not God's. And I don't care what your struggle is. Trust me, I got a long list. But what makes you get up every day is the hope that the next moment and the next day is going to be better than it was when you laid down last night. The trust to know that God has not just your back, He's got you. That you can rejoice in that every moment of the day. Then our lives are not driven by what people do and say or by things that happen. They're driven by our faith and our hope and our trust in Jesus. And I don't care where you are in your life. There is no place that cannot change. There's no place where you are that you can't turn it. You can't do it by yourself. There has to be some trust, some release. You have to be able to tell God, God, I'm tired of being an emotional, spiritual slave. I want to be free. I want to be free to love. I want to be free to be who you created me to be. You feel the impulse of the tugging on your heart that it's time for a change. Then I call you. If your response is to come, I call you to the altar where we can pray over you. Where we can be able to share with you the power of a decision that you'll make that will last forever and ever. It's not one moment, it's not one time. I make it. And while they minister to us, think about where you are in your life. What do you need? God knows. But are you willing to trust Him?